Hey guys, so we're back for another SBAC review question. So for this question, it reads, Mr. Miller has the following plants in his garden. 3 rows of tomato plants with 6 tomato plants in each row, 8 rows of pepper plants with 5 pepper plants in each row, 5 rows of bean plants with 4 bean plants in each row. How many plants in all does Mr. Miller have in his garden? Well, it seems that there are 3 parts to this problem. I'm going to have to, maybe 4 parts, because I'm going to have to multiply 3 rows times 6, 8 times 5, 5 times 4, and then I'm going to have to add the products for each of these to figure out how many plants in total. Now, when I think of the word rows, it reminds me of all that work that we did with arrays. So I think I'm going to create arrays for each of these sets of plants. So I'm going to start with the tomato plant. So I'm going to label it tomato plants and make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to move it up here. I know Mr. Miller has 3 rows of tomato plants with 6 tomato plants in each row. So 3 equal groups of 6. 3 times 6 equals, I'm going to leave a space for that because I'm going to try to figure out what 3 times 6 is in a second. And I think I'm going to use an array or a table in this case to make this easy for me. So I know I have 3 equal groups, so my 3 rows and my 6 columns. And so that's 3 times 6. It's really big, so I'm going to just resize it so it's easier to work with. And I'm going to move it over here. So I think to make this kind of easy for myself, I want to count. So I know, let's see, 3 times 6. That's 3. 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Oh, so 3 times 6 equals 18. Okay, so that's the first part. Now I have to figure out my 8 rows of pepper plants. So again, I'm going to type, because I want to label this, pepper plants. Whoa, Miss Maldonado, that looks kind of weird. Let's make this a little bit smaller too. Let's make that 20. So pepper plants, I know he has 8 rows or 8 equal groups of 5. So 8 times 5 equals, And again, I'm going to pretend I don't know my multiplication facts. So I'm going to use an array to solve that. Now, again, so 8 equal groups. So let's see, 8, and then 8 times 5, 8 equal groups of 5. Whoa, that's really big too. So I'm just going to make this again a little bit smaller so it's easier to work with. Move it over here. And because they're peppers, peppers usually are green. So I'm going to just use green this time to help myself. And I am going to count by, I think I'm going to count, just want to make sure I have this by 8 equal groups of 5. Yep. So I think I'm going to just count by 5s this way. So that's 5, 10, oops, 10, that was 10, and this is 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So 8 times 5 is the same as 40. Or 8 times 5. 40 is the product for 8 times 5. Alright, so now I have one more that I have to multiply 5 rows of bean plants with 4 bean plants in each row. So again, I'm going to type that and move it over here. Make this, that's way too big, so let's make that smaller size. So bean plants, 5 times 4 equals and we're going to create that table. So 5 rows and 4 columns, 5 and then 4. Okay, and then I'm also going to also count by 5s for this one, and I'm going to use another color this time. So I'm going to go down this way. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's 20. 5 times 4 equals 20. Now, my final question that I have to look at is that how many plants in all does Mr. Miller have in his garden? So that means that I have to take the product from each of these. I'm going to highlight these so you guys can see that a little bit better. I'm going to highlight them or change them to blue. So I have to find the product, or I have to find the total between these products. So I have 20, I have 18, and I have 40. So 40 plus 18 plus 20. And I want to rewrite that so I can clearly see what I'm adding. So I'm just going to type it down here. 40 plus 20 plus 18 equals, well, I know 40 plus 20 is 60. And then, because the 40 is from the pepper plants, and the 20 from the bean plants, plus the 18 from the tomato plants, and so I know 60 plus the 10 from the 18, that's 70, plus 8 ones would give me 78. So there are a total of 78 plants in Mr. Miller's garden. Now it's your turn to solve a similar problem on an exit ticket.